everyone, and welcome to Boise, Idaho. This is Kit Palmer from Cycle News, and I just finished riding the Yamaha Tracer 9 GT Plus. The GT Plus is Yamaha's premier sport touring motorcycle, and it replaces the former GT. Yamaha says it wasn't looking to replace the GT by making the GT Plus faster or sportier, but to instead increase the GT's level of capability and comfort significantly, according to Yamaha. And how did Yamaha attempt to do that? By upgrading the GT's electronic suite. So, what is the difference between the previous GT and the new GT Plus? Well, just from the looks of things, not a whole lot. The bikes look pretty much identical except for the Plus's new storm gray color scheme. The GT Plus has the same motor as the GT. It's the 890cc CP3 transverse inline triple engine, which is also housed in the same cast aluminum frame. And the semi-active suspension system is pretty much the same as before, but just upgraded a little bit with different settings. The bodywork just hasn't changed at all, nor have the panniers. Instead, the GT Plus is all about technology and its heavily upgraded electronic suite. The previous GT was already loaded with electronics. Now it has even more, and what it had has been refined. The biggest news is the new adaptive cruise control and radar link unified brake system. The adaptive cruise control automatically controls cruising speed, deceleration, and acceleration to match the vehicle's speed in front of you and to maintain constant following distance based on 4 adjustable presets. The adaptive cruise control couldn't happen without Yamaha's new millimeter wave radar system. You can see it's housed kind of inconspicuously in the GT's nose, in between the 2 small headlights. The GT utilizes data from the radar and its 6-axis IMU system to assist braking input when the distance to the vehicle in front closes to a certain level, while simultaneously adjusting front-rear braking bias and front-rear suspension damping force. If a car ahead is determined to be too close for a given brake pressure, the system assists by adding more braking force. Yamaha has given us 4 following distance to choose from, a minimum of 1 second and a maximum of 2 seconds. The system will only provide braking assistance when the brake control feature is turned on and the rider is already braking. Yamaha makes it clear that it is not a collision avoidance system, and it won't stomp on the brakes for you should you be looking in the wrong direction. The system isn't designed to prevent collisions, so you must stay engaged while riding a motorcycle. The radar-linked UBS system also works independently of the cruise control. When BC is turned on and you suddenly apply the brakes because of an object in the road, the radar unit will inform the brake's hydraulic unit if additional braking force can be applied. The GT Plus's updated 6-axis IMU still provides data to the ECU to enable the traction control system, the slide control system, and the front wheel lift control system. Each of the systems can still be turned off or on and have their levels of intervention adjusted to your preference. The GT Plus is fitted with the latest generation KYB Actimatic damper system, and there are 2 suspension modes. You have A1 for sport, and then you have A2 for comfort. You also have 4 riding modes with the GT Plus, which is pretty much the standard rain, street, sport, and custom mode. Custom mode is pretty cool because you can select the levels of engine power, traction control, slide control, lift control, and suspension. The mode button is positioned on the right switchgear, which is now backlit, so you can run it at night. Besides the new storm gray paint, what sets the old GT apart from the new GT Plus visually is its cockpit display. The former 2-piece display has been replaced by a single 7-inch color TFT display that is much easier to read and more informative. It also is capable of linking up to smartphones and Bluetooth accessories, and it accepts Yamaha's MyRide Link app that will display text messages and let you know who's calling on the TFT meter, and it also provides other information like weather. You can also access full screen turn-by-turn navigation on the TFT display, but you must download Garmin's motorized app. It's the only way to use it. Any function that has to do with the TFT display is now operated by a joystick on the left handlebar switchgear. The joystick replaces the love it or hate it control wheel that I think most people hated. The GT Plus quick shifter has been updated. It works now with the adaptive cruise control, which means that you can actually shift gears without it affecting the cruise control. You also get a new seat cover that's been updated that has a little bit more padding and a little firmer grip. You will pay a little more for all this new technology, exactly $1,600 more. You also get 7 more pounds with the GT Plus, but it still weighs under 500 pounds. Performance-wise, nothing has really changed. The GT Plus's motor is still as punchy as ever, and the initial throttle response at low RPM is still not G-free. It has tons of torque and accelerates smoothly and is plenty fast, just like the previous GT. Anything that is mostly new about the GT Plus is staring you in the face. The new dash is a 100% improvement. It looks much nicer and works better than before. You can quickly decipher almost anything you need to know instantly, even in bright sunshine. Hopping on the GT Plus, I was most anxious to try out the adaptive cruise control, but unfortunately time wasn't on our side. We spent much of the day shooting photos and doing videos and riding in groups on the twisty roads, and never really got a chance to follow a car or a motorcycle and just really try out the system. However, we now have our own bike, or GT Plus, to test, and we'll concentrate more on the adaptive cruise control and do a separate video specifically on that. I did, however, get to play with almost everything related to the GT Plus's new electronics, like the 3 fixed preset integrated ride modes that combine engine and rider aids and suspension all in one. Yamaha says this was done just to kind of simplify things for the riders, so they don't have to make so many adjustments all the time, where you can make a bunch of adjustments all at once on the fly. In sport mode, you get the spiciest power setting combined with the least amount of traction control, slide control, and lift control intervention, with the stiffest A1 suspension setting. In street mode, you get a little bit less of everything, and maybe a little bit more intervention, but not a whole lot. Rain mode is pretty much what you expect. You get a lot of intervention, and the power is definitely toned down a lot. I like both settings. You can tell the difference. I mean, both settings between sport and street. You can tell the difference, but I was pretty happy with just the street setting. Suspensions, it was a little bit more comfortable for me, and the motor was still plenty spicy, and the suspension, like I said, was really good for my kind of rather light 170 pounds. I found the new seat to be very comfortable. The cover itself is a little more grippy, so you're not sliding forward at all, and the extra padding really helps. We spent maybe 170 miles in the day that we had the bike, and at the end of the day I was totally comfortable. I mean, I could have gone many more miles on it and felt fine. For my 6 foot plus 1 inch height, I did prefer the higher of the 2 seat positions. It's only about an inch difference, but you feel it, and I preferred the higher settings, although I did ride the lower seat setting for a long time, and I was actually okay with that as well. I like the windscreen a lot. I'm usually kind of picky about or sensitive about wind buffeting, but the GT Plus's windscreen works really well, and it's really nice to be able to just reach out and make an adjustment, raise it or lower it. It says, Yamaha says there's like 10 little adjustments that you can put it in, but in reality it's basically full up or full down. It's not a huge range, so you're likely just to go all up or all down. I ended up riding it with it all down most of the day, and I had no issues with it. The panniers are really nice. They work well, the latches are good, and it's really nice when you take off the actual bag that there's no bracket behind it. At least that stands out and very noticeable, so it looks good without the bags. I wasn't quite able to fit my full-size Arai helmet in there. Maybe I've heard some other people are able to get it in there. Maybe I should have tried a little bit more, a little harder, but it's a tight fit regardless. You'll probably be able to get maybe a small to medium helmet in there, and definitely an open face helmet. Well, we were only on the bike for 1 day, which really isn't nearly enough to test a bike like the GT Plus, which is a long distance touring machine, and you probably won't be spending your day taking photos and videos of it. So like I said, we have a win now, and we're going to spend even more time on it, but it really doesn't take very long to know that the GT Plus is a fantastic sport touring motorcycle, just like it was before, but now it's even better, a little bit more convenient with all the updated electronics on it. It's a very sporty bike, even though it has bags on it and it has the word touring in its name. It's a very sporty bike, and it's a bike you can ride kind of aggressively and fun up in the hills and the twisties just all day long. If you've ridden the GT Plus before, or the GT before, you're going to really like the GT Plus with all the extra electronics and gadgets. Anyway, hey, check back for down the road for another video on the GT Plus. We'll have more information on the adaptive cruise control and how all the electronics works. Until then, yeah, we're really happy with the bike, and we're anxious to put a lot more time on it. So check back, and we'll have more. Thank you.